So I'm like, tell me. And Nancy agrees with me, you know. So finally it's like, if you don't want to tell me and the girls, it's like, whatever, it's your life. You know, I'm not a person like that that's got a nose into other people's business and tell everyone, like, but, you know, you can tell me. But like, you know, you can tell when someone is just busting to get something off their chest. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, so finally Nancy says to Mercedes, like, what did he do? You can trust all of us. It's not like any of the 7 girls at the table is going to tell anyone else, you know. Like, I would never tell anybody else her secret. I mean, I'm telling you, but you know what I mean. Anyway, and I was like, yeah, so what did he do, you know? And Mercedes is getting really, like, embarrassed, like, to the max, you know? And I'm, like, fully hectic and nervous for her, you know, because I know Jason's a moron, right? Jason's her fiancé, by the way. Anyway, he's bad news. He's been arrested so many times and she's called the cops on him so many times. It's like, why can't he, like, you know, treat her like she needs to be treated, like, you know? So anyway, she's about to tell us everything, and guess who walks into the restaurant? Guess. It was Jennifer. You know, the girl I was telling you about who talked behind Nancy's back last year. You remember I told you right after your birthday when you were telling me about the...
Okay, shut your face for a minute. I want to ask you a question. If you could only choose one, only one, which would you choose? Would you choose to be hot or would you choose to be beautiful?
Why can't I be both? Why can't I be beautiful and hot? What? Where are you going?
When push comes to shove, have you ever considered why women will always choose, with a wry grin, being sexy over being beautiful? Well, because hot is easy. It's just reproduction at the end of the day. Beautiful is also something more than just the physical. It can be admired from a distance. There's art, there's music, there's ideas. There's the depth of someone's character, there's values. It's not just the bull and rut. And then you consider what most young girls today idolize. They idolize unintelligent celebrities, big butts, big lips. Basically, they idolize bimbos because it's easy. They get a lot out of life by putting in minimal effort, basically with something they're born with. And we know that guys are blinded by hotness. I'm not making an excuse, it's just the way it is. We are narcotically hardwired to be addicted. As I've mentioned previously, there better be a very, very good red flagged reason why I shouldn't sleep with this woman because everything's wanting me to. But with a woman, the instinct is the opposite. With her, it's there better be a very good reason why I should even consider sleeping with this guy. The bottom line is that men don't see the individual, the person, when they're blinded by hotness. And if that's all you present, then that's all we tend to see. Women in men's eyes are essentially walking porn when they objectify themselves, when they exaggerate their hotness, and that's all they present. When women's primary value that they present is just their hotness and then they complain that that's all men see, that there's more to them than that, well, if that's all you're presenting, why are you surprised that that's all a man takes? Because he's thinking, oh, well, that's what's on offer. Okay. I mean, I can't really dress in a suit, flaunt my wealth, and then just complain that she's a gold digger. Brett Weinstein, the evolutionary biologist, talked about this recently, where he made the distinction between the hot reproductive strategy and the beautiful reproductive strategy. On a post last year on his Twitter, he said, "Beauty doesn't fade, hotness fades, and frankly, we would all be a lot better off if it didn't exist at all. I'm sure I'll get flack for saying that from women who wield hotness and from men who are addicted to it. But hotness deranges the world. It is the enemy of beauty," unquote. So the first reproductive strategy of beauty that has been around for time immemorial has been one of babies, commitment, spending a life together, building something, etc., etc. It's been around forever. The second reproductive strategy, which hasn't been that common in history, and is very, very common now in hookup culture and everyone being an individual and where everyone just wants to Groundhog Day their youth and promiscuity, is the I'm not going to stick around reproductive strategy. And from a man's point of view, he can't look away from that hot reproductive strategy. It's an evolutionary bargain. It means that I can satisfy my biology and I don't have to stick around. Hot stimulates a man's primal want to get in and out. It doesn't stimulate him wanting to see your personality or look for values, especially if you're not displaying any. Society promotes short-term. You can see why it does. Return customers, return divorces, return antidepressants. And as Brett Weinstein says, beauty doesn't tend to have an age limit, but hot does. Typically in the manosphere it's called the wall, and every woman faces it in midlife, and after that she becomes invisible. Men do to a degree as well, but we don't care as much. It doesn't kind of really rock us to our core. Remember, men, because we always have to try and get women, we failed a lot, so we're used to not having women. Whereas women in their prime years, before midlife, always have the potential of success, can get men easily. So I don't think the feeling is that comfortable for them later. Whereas for us later, even if we can't get women, it's kind of like, it's more of the same. It's not an unfamiliar feeling. It doesn't surprise us, I don't think. Whereas I think a lot of women are under the false misconception that because up until this point in their lives, men were always addicted to them, that men will always be addicted to them. They don't take into account biology, nature, and the way men and women separate in terms of wanting each other past midlife. Birth control was a big one. Let's not underestimate that. It conditioned women to short-term strategy and hot strategy. It sold freedom, choice, perpetual monkey branching, never settling, having a new man, just like you can have a new pair of shoes every week. It stimulated women's short-term instinct of shopping, having as many different men as you want in perpetuity, but they don't tell you that that slows down, if not stops later on, because men your age don't care anymore. Yeah, you can keep getting used by younger men when you get older and become a cougar. Have at it if you want. And birth control conditioned men that we didn't even know what was happening, whether it was short or long term. We just took what was on offer from women. So if women were non-committal, we thought, okay, that's the only way I can be with women. Oh, this feels pretty good. I don't have to commit. But the problem between men and women is that we have a loose grip on each other. We're never intimate with each other. We never hold on to each other. We never trust each other. We're always walking away, and essentially we're always alone. At the end of the day, hot is shallow. Beauty is deep. For women, hot takes little effort other than just displaying what you know men already want. It's easy. Give it to men in an obvious and gratuitous way and then complain, oh my God, men just want this one thing, when you're just displaying one thing. Just being hot is like just turning the volume up. It doesn't take much effort at all. Beauty requires more. Beauty requires depth, not just the surface of hotness. Women will constantly say, well, men are shallow. That's all they want. That's why we act this way, because we know that's all you want. But if all you're presenting is hotness, a man will just think, oh, well, most women, this is all they present. That's all that's there. Okay, I'll take it. It's fun. It's junk food. It's McDonald's. It's immediate, it's easy, it's primal, nature wants it. Nature just wants pregnancy. Nature's hungry. It doesn't care about you. It doesn't care about your future. It just cares about its own present moment through your addiction to hotness, whether it's the woman's addiction to use it or a man's addiction to consume it. If you act like something cheap and hot, you'll be treated like something disposable. You can't complain about not being taken seriously like literature if you keep presenting yourself like a McDonald's commercial. And you can quote me on this if you like, but I think women's liberation, all it's done has been a sexual liberation for women. That's it, not a spiritual or intellectual one. Women have taken backward steps. It's not my responsibility to say no to free sex without consequence. Yes, I know sex has consequence, but you know what I mean. Just like it's my responsibility not to just hand my money and my future and get on one knee and marry anyone. You know, you think about how you value your life and how you present yourself and how you interact, what you're getting, what you're giving. You want to be free and promiscuous forever like an adolescent? Fine, but stop acting like you're heading somewhere noble. If I keep throwing $100 bills at complete strangers, I can't really complain as I get older that I'm poorer and poorer and eventually I could be homeless. Remember, if women keep presenting hot as their primary way of presenting, then that's all we see. Think about it. If you're a woman, is your reproductive strategy the first one, where a man's reaction is, wow, you're beautiful. I want to be with you. I want to commit to you. I may want to have a family with you, whatever. Is that his reaction to you? Or are you presenting yourself in the second way, where you don't have to stick around, this is just about and transients. I don't want to commit to anything. In and out, get lost. I don't want to share anything with anyone. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Hotness only cares about what it puts in you. Beauty cares about what comes out of you. Anyway, I hope that was useful. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and select all in the drop down. It helps YouTube share my videos around to you. A lot of you guys might think you're subscribed. You're not. 60% of my viewers, it tells me, aren't subscribed who watch my videos. So just make sure. Share my videos around on your social media. That helps me out too. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't. Comment under the video. Keep this discussion going. I'd like to hear what you think about this subject. And if you feel like donating, there are links below. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.